right. The crow flies, baby. Yeah. The crow flies. Yeah. Are you outside jail right now waiting for Ryan to get out? Do you have money for his bail? What's the story? Morning Glory.
No, obviously, just like everyone else, finding out this morning that Dolphins outside linebackers coach Ryan Crow was arrested and being charged with battery and domestic violence. So just jumping on that. Obviously, I am at home, so reporting on it from home. But
you have
very
to
serious
admit,
charges.
You have to admit, it's apropos. A man that is teaching to handcuff quarterbacks gets handcuffed.
I don't want to make jokes on the situation. Obviously, a serious matter, but I know you're at liberty to
there you go. I joke about everything.
No, for sure. Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna, you know what I mean. I don't have to go down the PC route and all that kind of stuff. I don't play the PC route on this game. I've never played the PC route for 35 years, my brother. I'm not about to start now playing the PC route. You know what I'm saying? But
no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that front. Yeah.
It's just, my God, bro. It just never ends. It just never ends.
I mean, I am having flashbacks to pulling up to Hard Rock Stadium last year for the opener, week 1 against the Jaguars, and finding out first, actually, it was another media member that had just parked right before me saying, because they went in a different way than me. I never saw Tyreek Hill, but they went in a different way to get to the same media parking row. And they were like, man, I just saw Tyreek Hill getting arrested. He meant detained. But I was like, wait, are you sure? Like Tyreek? And I'm like, there will be something about it. And you know, he's not like a regular that's always on Dolphins. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Tyreek. And then, you know, I started looking it up. All of a sudden I see like a minutes earlier, there's videos of Tyreek on the side. You know, then I get upstairs and I'm putting up an article about it right away. Yeah, crazy. That was week 1 last year. And the Dolphins now, as they're going into the final weekend before week 1 this year, already some drama. Really, it's supposed to be this Labor Day weekend. It's that week 0 in the NFL when players and coaches can relax for one weekend, you know, one final time before the season kicks off. And right away, something like this pops up again for the Miami Dolphins.
Are you sure hookers and cocaine are not included?
I do not know any other details, obviously, other than what Ryan Crow has been.
Out of tradition for our Dolphin coaches, when arrested, cocaine and hookers must be involved. So I'm just wondering.
There was the incident with Forster, offensive
line
coach.
Yeah. So, you know, hey, crows know how to fly through the foresters. So, you know, it could happen.
Wow, you got all the puns today this morning.
I'm just working it right now. When you make it easy for me, you know, when you give me volleys, I'm gonna slam. You know, that's just kind of the way it goes. And that's the Crow has given me all kinds of, I mean, you know, volleys here. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good to start off the season.
And now for the Dolphins, Ryan Crow being placed on administrative leave. And this is a coach who was on the rise. He had gotten a couple of defensive coordinator interviews. The Patriots requested to bring him in. Mike Vrabel, obviously, the connection there because Ryan Crow came to the Dolphins from the Titans where he was under Mike Vrabel. And the Cowboys had also requested an interview with him back early in the offseason for the defensive coordinator role. So a coach that has been on the rise, and then now this pops up, and a coach who was leading a very important unit.
So what you're saying is his career was soaring, but all of a sudden now he saw the Boise field and thought it was an ocean and dove in. Okay, I got it.
You've got. I'm waiting for how you work Scarecrow into one of these. The way you're on a roll here.
I'm just saying, you know what happens in the Boise field, right? They find dead birds on the Boise field because the birds.
Okay, I'm learning something here now.
The birds think it's an ocean and they dive down and they die.
Oh, the actual blue Boise State turf. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that actually happens over there.
Okay, yeah. The references here on this show will come from everywhere. You just got to kind of catch up and kind of, and you might have to know culturally all the kind of crap that goes on. I have a lot of bullshit in my head, so you're gonna have to keep up with me on all these fun facts that I know in my head. But anyway, no, seriously.
Big O is far from just a sports program.
Yes, but far from that. Yes, it is actually. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, the fact that they put him on administrative leave, I hate to read into it, but it kind of tells me that the initial reports, they're not good. Because usually it's, hey, we're not going to comment. We're going to let the investigation, this, that. Because when they see it's kind of like maybe a he said, she said, or there's kind of grayish, they'll just let. But the fact that they put his ass already on administrative leave, I just wonder what the initial reports are. And I'm sure you're trying to get the police report as we speak, right? That's probably what you're.
Yeah, we are at the Sun Sentinel, of course.
Yeah. I normally when I used to do the beat stuff, I would go crazy and go after that right away and all that. I hated doing that stuff, but yeah, nowadays I don't feel like I'm too freaking lazy to do that stuff anymore.
You'll find out eventually, right?
Yeah, bro. I'll let somebody else. Yeah, I'll let somebody else come out. Andy Slater's like living and sleeping with the cops, and he always puts out something. So Slater, you'll get a Slater scoop soon, and all that, and all that soon. So somebody will have something there, and then we could talk about the crow flying or dying or whatever it is. I don't know what's going to go on when it's all said and done. All right, your thoughts on the overall roster and the final moves made?
Yeah, I mean, moves still being made to the very day before the weekend, or days before the weekend ahead of the opener, and addressing the biggest position of need, cornerback, and multiple moves still being made for the active roster at cornerback down to the wire here. Rasul Douglas, obviously the name that had been linked for months and months. Finally, it happens. We talked to him in the Dolphins locker room at the facility just yesterday, and he mentioned how he had some family issues going on as to why he wasn't signing with the team earlier in the process. So that's the explanation on the holdup and the delay on that front. But now a week plus before the season begins, finally locks in with the Dolphins, and it'll take some time for him. Obviously, Julius Juju Brents, former second-round pick out of K-State, the Dolphins liked, and he was waived from the Colts, so he was one of their cuts, and now joins the Dolphins. So kind of like the dual benefits of you get someone from your week one opponents, and then also at a position where you still need help and you still need guys to compete. I don't think anything's solidified. I mean, we like what Storm Duck is doing. He's still a second-year undrafted player, although we like the ascension where he's going, that he's still widely unproven as far as just consistently performing in this league. So if he's going to be your top corner, then, yeah, you need the veteran addition of Rasul Douglas, which it might take some time for him, but get him in there, get a 6'3" corner like Brent's to work into it. Jack Jones, who has now had most of camp with the Dolphins and has sort of been on the rise in recent weeks after Amon-Ra St. Brown took him to school. He kind of bounced back well from that. And Jason Marshall Jr., the rookie fifth-round pick out of Kansas State, out of Florida. Brent is from Kansas State. Miami kid from Palmetto. I like the way he has shown up the last few weeks. So, I mean, cornerback is where my focus is on this roster. I know you asked about the whole roster. Obviously, offensive line as well.
It's really a bunch of unanswered. We really don't know what the hell we're going to get from either. Yeah. When somebody gets injured on the line, which somebody's going to get in. I mean, listen, I know it's happened where guys play the whole season together, and I hope that happens, that the five play together the whole season. We get that luck, because that usually ends up with teams that are deep in the playoffs or the Super Bowl. You have like you're covering them in the Super Bowl, and you realize that all five linemen have played all year, and you're like, holy shit, that's amazing, and maybe that's why you're in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So I hope it happens, but somebody's going to go down on the O-line. We don't know how good are the guys going to fill in, and that secondary, because the pass rush is so fierce. People are going to have to play like Tua plays his entire life here in Miami 2 seconds or you're dead. So teams are going to attack that secondary quickly, dude, quickly. And that's the beauty, or the not the beauty, the enigma. Okay? Because the enigma is trying to figure out what it is. And that's kind of what it is. We don't know what the secondary is. We don't know what that second level of offensive linemen are. That is an absolute enigma to all of us.
Yeah. No, and actually it is a benefit to the secondary if opposing teams are going to try to attack them quickly. That's less time that they have to cover. So if that pass rush is already getting into opponent's head early on, like, all right, we're going to try to beat them with a quick pass, then DBs, especially, hey, Jack Jones likes to gamble. All right, Rasul Douglas, he's one that, will go and bite for the pick. If they only got to play the first move, now all of a sudden there's opportunities for them to bite on that and turn those into turnovers, interceptions. So that's a great effect that the pass rush could have on the quarterback if you're already of the mindset as the opponent, like, we're going to work these corners quick because we're not letting these pass rushers get to us. Well, now they don't have to cover for as long.
Yeah, and then the other challenge will be, these are the two things how they're going to attack Miami's defense right away, I can tell you. One is the quick pass off the pass rush, and 2 is the running game. So the fat guys will have to do their job in the middle, and you're kind of hoping that that's going to translate, and you're not going to have a lot of success in the middle with all the fat guys that you have now. But the pass rushers and the people on the outside, they might beat you up some now. So they might be running more outside on you and testing your pass rushers and wearing on your pass rushers. They used to do that a lot to Jason Taylor early on in his career. If you go back and look at Jason Taylor's first 3 years, he had a lot of nicks and knacks and kind of, he played through most of them, but he was skinny. So he was kind of building his body up. And because he was fast and lanky, they would offset that pass rush by running at him. And so Jason had to get better with his hands and his body to be able to fend off the tackle and get the run. And he became obviously just an all-around defensive end when it was all said and done. But the first couple of years, he took a beating. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen to Chop or whatever, but I am saying that that's what they're going to do to Phillips and Chop and Chubb. They know you're coming after him. Okay, so since you're coming after us, we're going to come after you. That's the next level there, too. That's the other thing that we're going to see. The quick pass, and in the run game, you're going to see a lot of outside stuff because they're going to make those outside pass rushers take physical punishment along the way.
Yeah, and I look at Chop Robinson first and foremost in that regard. He has come out in training camp and said, no, I can stop the run. I can set the edge. Well, I think opponents are going to be going at him and making him prove it. They're going to test that. They're going to make him prove that. So, I do like the Dolphins' ability up the middle to stop the run. Obviously, when you have Zach Sealer, wherever he's lining up, he's going to be reliable. I mean, he had that from the very beginning. And the pass rush now, back-to-back 10-sack seasons, that's kind of only been added recently of late. So that's been a great compliment for him. But you get a Kenneth Grant in there now as your first-round pick. I like his ability. Benito Jones, obviously, he's going to be in there on early downs. He's more counted on as the run stuffer as nose tackle. And Jordan Phillips, I like for his power as well. I don't know how much we'll see Zeke Biggers play early on in his career. Maybe he'll have to work his way into that role. And then, of course, Jordan Brooks at the next level. I think it'll be mostly Tyrell Dodson next to him when it's a traditional 3-4. But you like what the Dolphins have up the middle there. So I agree. Defenses will be trying to attack the edge rushers and maybe taking advantage of their aggressiveness. If they're trying to get up the field, you go right at where they're lined up, and maybe there are holes there, off tackle, etc. That opponents will be trying to attack. So Chop Robinson, first and foremost, he's got to set the edge because opponents will try to go at him. I think Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb probably have a little bit more of the respect from opponents in that regard. But Chop Robinson will have to prove that first, and then once opponents are not having success going right at him with the run, then that's when they're going to get backed up on 3rd and long, and then that's when you can pin your ears back and get after the quarterback.
And remember, they're also going to test one guy's knee and one guy's Achilles. And that's the other thing from wear and tear. Even though they're older and they're a little bit more proven, although Jalen hasn't proven to be durable. And so if you're an opponent, you want to go, hey, let's get physical with this guy because he has broken down a lot and he's coming off a serious injury. So those guys also will be tested to see if they can hold up too in the process. This is the part where that's where having a bad secondary is, or an unproven secondary or a young secondary, because we really don't know what they are. You know what I mean? You really can't call them bad until they actually go out there and prove that they're bad. They might be young, they might be, or they might be half decent actually. Who knows? But because of that, that's the way you're going to attack everything, because you know that pass rush from Sealer inside and to the outside, that's going to be a lot of fun, dude. They got guys that can get after the quarterback and disrupt the pocket. And if you do that, then you have to counter. And these guys better be ready for that, because it could be a long day for them in certain situations.
Yeah, I like the idea of calling them unproven. I think the Eagles secondary last year would have also been unproven to start, and then rookies, right. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, like all of a sudden that was a heavy strength of the team.
How about the Chiefs? The Chiefs 3 years ago, same shit.
Yeah.
They got a whole bunch of those young guys, and then all of a sudden, holy crap, McDuffie and all these guys are really, really freaking good. And there you go. Yeah. The rest is history. You know,
I think those are the examples probably that were big motivating factors for this Dolphins team and Anthony Weaver and Mike McDaniel to just say, hey, we can develop guys like that. We don't have to spend big, and we have Jalen Ramsey here, but that we can move off him and then just go this route and see what comes of it. It doesn't always work out like those. Those are extreme success examples, but just knowing that it's possible is something to look forward to with the secondary. And but I mean, it's still going to be tough to get to those levels, to rise to those levels. Still probably unlikely, but something that this unit can aspire to.
The Darren Waller stuff, I'm still kind of, I saw the press conference yesterday with you guys gathered around him and talking to him, and it just, I just have a hard time going with this thing. I hope it works out, but you're ramping a guy up from 0 to 100 now without anything in between, and his explanation on the process of it made no sense whatsoever, because you were there at the beginning of training camp when there was no pads or anything. There's zero intensity there. That would have been exactly the time that you bring a guy along. And when he's trying to explain the difference between the cardio workout of a football player and what he was doing and all that, I just saw like a bunch of excuses. And to me, none of this jives, dude. Not when you have Chris Myrick and you have others that are, they come either completely out of football for years, or guys that were coming back from major surgeries, or there were so many examples of guys that came back and just got right on there and got back on the horse and just started doing it, and he couldn't. Dude, I have a hard time buying this one. It just, there's more to this story. There just is.
Yeah, well, the thing that does give me some hope on this is that he was actually activated off PUP. Like, there has to be some form of positive thinking toward this, belief in where he is based on that. Because remember, OBJ last year, he still remained on PUP, and that was the first 4 weeks. Put him out for those, and it was a much slower process. So, Darren Waller came in tremendous actual physical shape for that High Rocks workout routine that he was doing, but. Football it's a lot of more quick twitch. It's not like the endurance aspect, or obviously you need the strength training background and obviously be able to run, but it's a quick burst of acceleration and cuts, which can put a lot on a lot of joints and muscles. So I understand that part of it as to why that type of training is different, and why if your body has not been used to that and building up to it, then it could be different from what you're doing, whether it's this High Rocks or CrossFit or like marathon training running.
And Chris Myrick, that's out of football for 3 years. Your explanation is what?
Well, I hope for him that he was doing football-specific workouts at his time off, and that's why he was able to. But no,
right.
I mean, I get your point, though.
Right.
He was away, but he's also a guy that's got to earn a spot. He is there specifically.
No, I understand that. I understand that he's a guy that had no value, was completely dispensable. I totally understand. Nobody gave a shit if they put him out there and he got injured. Although it would have cost him more medically because then they have to rehab his ass. But overall, I get it. They don't care about him like they care about Waller. But you care about Jalen Phillips more, and he's coming back from major surgery. You care more about Chubb than you do Waller, and he's coming back from major surgery. So there are players that were more valuable to your team than Darren Waller is, and yet they took the field and you didn't bring them along at a snail's pace like this guy. They were out there right away working out with the guys and doing everything. So it just, I don't know, dude. To me, it's just the problem was there's so many other examples that it just kills this one. You have nothing to stand on when there's a series of different examples of different players either coming out of complete retirement or out of major surgeries. It's just weird, dude. It's weird.
No, I understand the concern. I can understand some of where it comes from, but I totally understand, obviously, and also why it feels like okay just last year. But I mean, Chris Greer spoke kind of exactly to that, saying, "Well, we want to be more cautious than we were with Odell Beckham, and actually, they are bringing him back from PUP before the season." So he wasn't speaking directly to Odell, but he was kind of insinuating like we've been burned by that before.
Well, but the Odell thing is different. The Odell thing was he was running 21 miles an hour. For a fact, I know this. And then about a week and a half before we started, he suffered the knee injury. And then that's when, by having the injury, that's when they didn't know where he was, if he was going to be able to be activated or not. And that's why they were kind of teetering. And then, but up until that point, he was running just fine. He wasn't having any setbacks. He was set to play. I was telling everybody he was running like the wind because I knew he was timed. And he even said himself, and he's quoted as saying 20 miles an hour. I can tell you that's not accurate. Well, maybe he was timed at 20, but he was timed at 21 several times. So he was flying and he was running well. And then all of a sudden he had the injury and then the season went to crap for him. And it was over. And that's why they got burned. But if he's not having any injuries, which it doesn't look like it, what is it? Because you activated him. That's the other thing. See, with Odell, you couldn't because, unfortunately, he ends up suffering an injury right before the season starts, and you end up getting screwed in the process. He's not injured, hasn't been injured. What's going on? I just think it's more about this than anything else. That's the way I look at it because of everything that's gone on in the world of Waller has been this. Why do you quit football? Because you're mentally unstable. Why do you quit on your marriage? You're mentally unstable. You go to become a rapper all of a sudden, and you're not. And now you realize you aren't a successful rapper, so now you got to go back to being a tight end again. It's all here. And that's why it's, to me, that's the way I kind of look at it. And now that you're back, I was just talking about this, that, there's a guy that quit on football. And it was mostly about this. It wasn't like Andrew Luck that was just like, oh, injury, rehab, pain, injury, rehab, pain, injury, rehab. No, dude, you quit football and you quit on your relationship. And then you went to rapping and you quit on rapping. And as you realize you're not a successful rapper, now you got to go back to what you do know, which is football. You know what I mean? And to me, I that's where I it's all mental for me with this guy. It's not really all about the physical. And I know he's had his injuries, but you just wonder if there's no injury right now like there was with Odell, then what is it? That's kind of the way I think right now with Darren Waller.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a mental hurdle for sure. I can totally see that. And I'm with you. The whole time I was just like, how is it this slow of a ramp up? You're not even bringing him back to practice. And then you're running out of time to actually ramp him up in practice. But it is what it is. And maybe it's a less of a snap count early on. Maybe that's also where maybe it's just you get him out there for a handful of plays to start off. This is why you have a Tanner Connor. He could be a pass catching tight end week one and use him a little bit more. You have Greg Dulcich out in the practice squad, although you're just bringing him in and you're already going to have to use elevations on one of the running backs and your kicker, Riley Patterson. So I don't think he would be up for the first game, but it's going to be some Connor and probably you need Julian Hill. Let's see if he's added some pass catching into his game because you might need him if Darren Waller isn't really giving you that much early on.
All right, good stuff. What do you got going on this Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, we've got the season preview stuff all coming out this next week. Just finished covering this final week of just Dolphins specific prep before they focus on the Colts. Actually, just have a Rasul Douglas story up this morning. So check that out, what he's saying as he joins the Dolphins. And this weekend, I will be covering the Notre Dame game on Sunday night. So as it's a weekend off from the Dolphins, aside from this Ryan Crow news that pops up this morning, this weekend off, I'll fill in on Canes and cover them against Notre Dame Fighting Irish in the top 10 matchup.
We're going to do a post-game Sunday night. I'm hoping to do a happy I'm pumped for the season, bro. I really think the Canes are going to have a good season. I think they're going to go 11-1 this year. I think they're going to be in the ACC championship game. I think this is the year they make the step. They have to. And unfortunately for Mario, brother, it's time. It's time. You got to turn the corner already. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. That's David Furones _. And make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the game on Sunday night, my friend. And don't hang around with Ryan Crow.
Oh, no. All right.
Have a good one. All right. Welton Rheaume, proud sponsors of our program. We love Jeff Welton, Daniel Rheaume, two Bulldogs. Bookend tackles. Two just ends that will terrorize insurance companies that are making your life miserable. That's right. So if you're dealing right now with homeowner property damage, condo damage, personal injury, and insurance companies aren't living up to their responsibilities, pick up the phone and call 954-966-4646. We are in storm season, but you and I know it doesn't take a hurricane anymore. We have torrential downpours now. We have so much humidity now in the air that there are torrential downpours at any time, anywhere in the world. It's not cloud seeding, it's nature, and it is pouring down on you. And when that happens, we have floods, we have damage. Sometimes you get roof damage. And if you notice, after that downpour, brown spot, before you call the insurance company, you call Welton Rheaume. They send their adjusters, they check out your roof, and then they go and take on the insurance companies for you. You never have to pick up the phone and call the insurance companies. You only go pick up a check at Welton Rheaume. So you got some roof issues, busted pipe. We do get hit by a storm. God forbid. Save this number on your cell phone, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcies are going up at an all-time high. Credit card bills are through the roof. If you're dealing with bankruptcy, Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume can help you out. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.